Hi.
Afternoon here, but most of it's late in the evening. Good evening. Yes, I'd love to share something briefly about our Rotary here. District is 9213 and the country is Uganda. I don't know whether everyone knows where Uganda is, but we'll figure out. We have 4,609 Rotarians here, 2,665 Rotaractors. Our district governor is Edward Kakembo Nsubuga. He and the number of our Rotary clubs, 122, and 123 Rotaract clubs. It's just of recent that the Rotaract clubs have overtaken the number of Rotary clubs. Otherwise, before, Rotary clubs were more. This is Uganda. Uganda is formed eastern part of Africa, neighboring countries, Kenya, Tanzania, Congo, and Sudan. But apparently, Uganda has two Rotary districts, 9213 and 9214. We just redistricted 3 years ago. When I was Changemaker president, and like some of you were, that is when we redistricted. When you see Kampala here, the red spot, this is where I'm right now. So there was a line drawn somewhere here that divided some Rotary clubs. Some of the Rotary clubs in Uganda belong to District 9214. Mostly the Rotary clubs near Lake Victoria and below. That means that District 9214 spreads into Tanzania, and that's one district. Before, we used to have District 9212, which was both Uganda and Tanzania. In fact, that was one big district, but Rotary has grown in Uganda that we have redistricted. As Rotarians, I think we are inspired by the challenges in our countries, and I think that's when we come in. So I wanted to share the challenges, and then I shared intervention. The challenges first there's been political instability. The history is not very far that we have had certain situations of political instability. And these have caused certain problems we have been solving as Rotarians. There is poverty, there are health issues, regional conflicts. As we speak now, Uganda is the host of the biggest number of refugees in the world because of the regional conflicts. Infrastructure limitations is one of the other problems in Uganda. Then regulatory hurdles, access to finance, and that affects the development and every other progress. So these challenges facing Uganda speak or dictate a lot about what we do in Rotary. We do this, as we do this, we do them in 7 areas of focus, as you know. I may not mention that, but as we go along, we're going to look at the 7 areas of focus and how we do the projects. Our goal this year was to collect about $40,000 and utilize about 4 million. For now, I will talk about the utilization. The collection is still going on, as you know, TRF collections and every other thing. Currently, we have 48 global grants, active global grants. They are worth about $3.5 million. And another 11 are still in the pipeline. Probably they will be also authorized in the next few months. And that will be about 1.1 million. So it looks like we will hit the target of 4 million utilization in global grants. And how do we do global grants? We do them in a number of areas. To start with, healthcare. And this healthcare speaks a lot about the infrastructure, the personnel, and the resources, the lack of. You can be in an area, a radius of kilometers, and there is no health center. And this is where Rotary has come in so much to bridge the gap. The government facilities are scattered apart. Even when the facility is there, the doctors being there is also a problem. The doctors may not be there. The other thing is the equipment to deal with certain problems also may not be there, and expertise. Three-way kind of lack that affects the healthy system. And this is when we come in with our area of focus of disease prevention and treatment. From my observation, it looks like every Rotary club here has done something in this area of focus. But of course, there are other high-level interventions we've done as a district. We built a blood bank because that was a very serious issue in the health system. And then every year we run for cancer, collect a lot of money in the cancer run so that we intervene in that cancer problem by constructing whatever equipment is required. But also closely to that in the healthy area is the maternal and child health area of focus. The statistics show that 284 women of 100 die because of maternal-related ailments. And the infant mortality rate is also high, 38 deaths per every 1,000 is quite high. We almost have every Rotary Club doing something in this intervention. Even if it's immunizing children, if it's treating children, it's giving them something, it's being done. This was a project by my club when we were putting up an operational theater down there somewhere in the islands of Lake Victoria, where healthy facilities are not readily available. And these are my colleagues, some of the Rotarians. The other challenge we have is the challenge of climate change. And I think this is a global thing. As the Rotarians in Uganda, we have tried to revive the environment by planting trees. This was started about 3 years where I had the green year, and we have never stopped. Almost every club does tree planting. Every outing, whether you've gone for a medical outreach, you plant trees as part of the program. We believe it will help the environment to resuscitate it. Then there is a problem of gender equality and women's rights. This is addressed in the peace and conflict resolution. In Uganda, there's a lot of imbalance in the gender, and it causes a lot of friction, causes a lot of violence, gender-based violence. And the Peace Center addresses this, as much as the Peace Center also addresses other areas, regional conflicts and all that, but this is a major thing. And maybe you're aware also that we host the Rotary Peace Center, the only one in Africa. It's the 7th Rotary Peace Center in the world. And now this center attracts a number of other members from various regions to come here and train in peace and conflict resolution. Scholarships in peace and conflict resolution are given out, and they are done here, which is a good thing. It has enhanced this area of focus. There is this major problem of water and sanitation. Now, it's caused by lack of access to clean water. Not only that, lack of access to wash facilities. There is a small ratio of sanitation facilities compared to the population. And this is very common also. Rotary clubs doing water and sanitation projects in so many places. They construct tanks, they do solar pumped boreholes, they do rainwater harvesting because we have rain throughout the year almost, and this helps. Another area of focus is the basic education and literacy. Education also is another area challenge in Uganda. You find schools are there, but not well equipped. Schools are not also very readily there. They are miles and miles away from the children. So Rotary has done a lot of projects in education, basic education and literacy. And we thank the Rotary fraternity for doing this. As a club, I've done this because this is my area of profession as a teacher. And I've done 3 global grants in just this, basic education and literacy. The other area, unemployment, is a problem here. 70% of Ugandans are youth, and they are unemployed or unemployed. So what we do as Rotary, we try to intervene in this through community economic development, train them into something, equip them, microfinancing, and all that, whichever way we can do. And the Rotary clubs have come up to address this problem by forming circles, forming revolving funds, training in certain skills. That's about it. We could engage in a number of questions.
AG David, thank you. We do have 5 minutes for questions. So is there anyone who would like to hear more about Uganda? Maybe you have some burning questions. Yes.
You talked about education projects. Can you give us a little bit more details on those projects?
Yes, projects in education mostly look at equipping. They equip things like books, the stationaries to be used in the schools. Some of these students don't have the right material to use. We can talk of provision of IT equipment, computers. Some schools can't afford to give computers to the children. You can talk of training of teachers or retraining. All these are areas of projects, and we've done a number of global grants in these projects.
Yes, CP Maureen.
Yes, the last Rotary year we had our district governor then chose the theme of BELEP, Basic Education and Literacy Enhancements Program, and all the Rotary clubs around the country went around partnering with schools in areas of training teachers, but also stocking libraries, like AG David has said, and refurbishing schools. And some clubs have taken up students that could not afford school fees and so forth. And this went on for a whole year. In fact, we had 2 days in the year that we called Dear Day, Drop Everything and Read, where all Rotary clubs were in the schools at that particular time, at the same time, creating an impact all over the whole district in that particular area.
Okay,
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
May I know what languages do you study, for the students, both the primary and secondary schools?
English.
So does it mean that if we would like to work with you on, let's say, teachers training or working on, for example, online, education program and etc., we can all do it in English?
All those are possibilities. All those are possibilities. Anything that enhances the children's learning is very good. And now the education ministry is going towards vocational skills. They're emphasizing that and they're building that. But the other thing, the number of other areas of focus which spill into education. For example, WASH. You can do a WASH project in a school. And that is very helpful because you can teach them how to prevent themselves from the waterborne diseases. You can construct toilets for them or washrooms. All that is related to education.
One question. You mentioned about the problem of refugees in your country. So why you have so many refugees from different country, neighboring country, and how are these refugees being looked after at the moment? Money from Rotary, from United Nations or some other organizations?
I think refugees tend to come to our country because it's so central in the region. And I think we are so accommodative. Our borders are usually entered from all directions. I think the hospitality here is very good. The moment they come, they are supported by the UN and other organizations still come in. In fact, one of the clubs I look after as AG has a Rotaract club in a refugee camp. It was established there. It's, I think, one of the very few.
Thank you, AG David, for your sharing. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.